Hey guys, Dwayne Bryant here. New week, another edition of my MLB trend report for Monday, June 26th. We're going to get right into it. And I've got some good undefeated trends for today, six altogether, one with an ROI of almost 150%. We'll get to that one in just a little bit. Before I get to that, though, as always, just a disclaimer here: never, and I mean never, make a bet based on any single trend, angle, or piece of information. Simply use these trends as part of your handicap of each game. And with that said, we're going to get into trend number one today. We're going to look at Spencer Strider from this season. We're going to look at Spencer Strider at home. Click the SDQL button, and you'll see that Spencer Strider has an over-under of 7-0. 7 overs, no unders. And not only that, but these games have sailed over the total by almost 4.5 runs per game. And it is active today. Strider and the Braves at home against Sonny Gray and the Twins. Let's move into trend number two. Before we get to trend number two, I quickly ask that if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to stay with pitcher specific. We're going to stay with just this season. This time, we're going to look at Justin Verlander. And we're going to look at Justin Verlander basically in all starts this season. Doesn't get any simpler than that. You can see that Justin Verlander is 0-9 against the run line this season. In fact, even though straight up he was an average minus 133 favorite, he's still just 3-6 straight up this season. The Mets losing by almost a run and a half a game, but you can see the ROI, if you fade Verlander on the run line, it's actually a higher ROI, 52.4%, than it is on the money line at 44.9%. And this is in play today. Verlander and the Mets at home against Colin Ray and the Milwaukee Brewers. I know I live in Pennsylvania. I'm in the tri-state area. The weather is pretty sketchy here today. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that game in. We will have to wait and see. So let's go to trend number three. Before I get to that, just a quick ask that you please hit the thumbs up to like this video. I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to stick with Justin Verlander, but now we are going to go back and include last season. So season greater than or equal to 2022. Starter is equal to Justin Verlander. And we're going to look at Verlander when the total is greater than or equal to 8. So going back to last season, Justin Verlander, when the posted total is at least 8. And hitting the SDQL button. And actually, that was not the whole query. We're going to look at Justin Verlander going back to last season. Total of at least 8 against opponents who average less than or equal to 2 3/4 extra base hits per game on the season. So that's going to change things a little bit. Justin Verlander going back to last season when the total is at least 8 and his opponent is averaging no more than 2.75 extra base hits per game. Now we hit the SDQL button, and you can see that the over-under is 0-6-1, no overs, 6 unders, 1 push. Not only that, but these games have stayed under by 3.7 runs per game. You can see down here, Verlander's team has averaged 3.14 runs. The opponents have only averaged 1.43 runs. So Verlander and the bullpen behind him have been getting it done in this situation. And again, this is active today. Verlander and the Mets at home against the Brewers, if they can get that game in. Let's move to trend number 4. And before I do that, I ask that if you haven't already, please click the bell to get notified when I post a video or go live on this channel. We're going to stay starter specific. We're going to stay with going back to and including last season. But now we're going to look at Andrew Haney. And we're going to look at Haney when the total is 9 or 9.5. So since last season, Andrew Haney, when he starts with a total set at either 9 or 9.5, and there's multiple ways to do the 9 and 9.5 there. That's the shorter way. We'll hit the SDQL button. You can see that Haney is a perfect 8-0 straight up and on the run line, winning these games by an average of 6.25 runs per game. You want to talk about a winning margin. That's quite the winning margin. And really, because he's 8-0 on the run line here, this is where the money's at. An average run line of basically minus 104, and you're getting a 96.8% ROI by backing Haney on the run line. And this is active today. Haney and the Rangers at home against Matthew Boyd and the Tigers. Let's move to trend number 5. Before I get to trend number 5, though, if you guys have any questions on SDQL, any trends or angles you want me to research, or you have any MLB trends for today that you'd like to share, drop them in the comments. If there's things that you don't like about the show, things you'd like to see on the show, any changes you'd like me to make to the show, drop them in the comments as well. I would love to hear from you guys on any of those topics. Let's move into trend number 5. We're going to stay starter specific. We're going to stay going back to and including 2022, but now we're going to look at Luis Castillo. We're going to look at Luis Castillo when his opponents are not really a power team, where their average home runs is less than or equal to 0.9. So going back to last season, Luis Castillo against an opponent that is averaging less than or equal to 0.9 home runs per game on the season. And we'll hit the SDQL button. And you can see that despite being a minus 185 favorite, Castillo is just 2-8 straight up. So if you faded Castillo in these 10 games, you went 8-2 for an ROI of 105.5%. And that is active tonight as Castillo and the Mariners host Trevor Williams and the Washington Nationals. And that brings us to the main event, the trend of all trends today. And before I get to that biggie with the huge ROI, I just ask that if you're so inclined, head over to dbbets.com. I don't have any individual plays up for sale today, but I do have a special deal going right now. You can get all of my plays in all sports through the end of the year for about $3 a day. It's a great deal. I was number 1 in college football last season across the board at WagerTalk in ROI, in win percentage, in profit. I was number 1 in the NFL 2 years ago, and I'm actually number 1 in the NFL the last 2 seasons combined on 5% NFL plays. So you can get all of that and more through the end of the year for about $3 a day. Special limited time deal at dbbets.com. So now for the biggie, and it doesn't get any simpler than this. We're going to look at just 2023, and we're going to look at Matthew Boyd. And we're going to look at Matthew Boyd starting in night games on the road this season. So just this season, Matthew Boyd in night starts, which in this database is any game that starts after 6 p.m. Eastern. So Matthew Boyd at night on the road. And we'll hit the SDQL button. We're going to get a little added suspense here as the database is thinking. And this is the beauty of technology. We're at the mercy of the database. I'm not sure. This is a pretty simple query. Not a whole lot of games to look at. So I'm not sure what the holdup is here. And I can actually try to do this on a different database if I have to. Let me copy this, and I'm going to go to another database. And if I can, I will put it in there and I will share the screen from there if I have any luck. And of course, there it comes up right away. Now the lines are different. Oh, there we go. We're back anyway. Well, this is good because the other database, they have different line sources, so it affects the ROI, etc. So now you can see here Matthew Boyd in road night starts this season, despite being an average plus 150 underdog, is a perfect 6-0, winning by 2 runs per game. So if you take him in this spot, you have an ROI of 149.2%. And it is active tonight. Boyd and the Tigers on the road in Texas against the Rangers. Now, remember, a couple trends ago, I gave you a trend that seemed to support Andrew Haney, which is exactly why I always say do not make a bet based on any single trend, angle, or piece of information. Because if you look at a game long enough, you're going to find trends and angles that support the over and the under, the visitor and the home team, the favorite and the underdog, no matter how you slice it. So it's always best to make sure that you've got compounded edges in a game before you actually make a play. That is going to do it for today's MLB trend report. Again, if you guys have any questions or any trends that you found that you'd like to share, any comments on what you'd like to see added or changed about this show, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, guys, best of luck on all of your wagers today.